you lot appreciate it. I've just run to the top of what I thought was the highest hill in the area. It turns out there's one a little bit taller over that way. But it's a pretty high point, look. Well, look where I am. Basically, it's in one of the most beautiful parts of the world, a little bit west of Swansea, which is in that direction. If I can get it over that way, the estuary in the distance over there. Look, there's even a trig point to prove it. Yeah, it's some kind of a rule, isn't there, that you have to stand on top of a trig point. Wow, that's a bit easier than it would have been 3 months ago. Wow, that is some view. I've realised I've now got to get down and get the camera to show you the view from up here, haven't I? And then I've got to get back up again. Wow, that is something else. Yeah, come have a look. There we go. Like I say, Clangeneth that way, Swansea that way. I forget the name of the estuary. I think Jimmy Watkins lives over there somewhere. I might be completely wrong, but stunning, stunning part of the world. But what is it that, let me get down off here so I can talk to you properly. So I come for a little run whilst we're on holiday in West Wales, well, Gower, just to talk a little bit about doing Couch to 5K. Now, I'm now regularly running like an hour, easy runs, tempo runs, intervals, all that stuff that gets you running well. I'm back to doing all that stuff now. It feels great. But the only real reason why I've been able to do it is because I did Couch to 5K. And there's some good stuff about it and some bad stuff about it. And I probably want to talk a little bit more about it in the studio. But I thought I'd introduce the video by showing what I was capable of doing now, that there is in no way over the last, well, yeah, 3 years, maybe even more, I've been capable of doing, which is just whacking the trainers on and coming for a run. So let's get back to the studio. I'll tell you all the good things, all the bad things, in my opinion, about the Couch to 5K. And the Couch to 5K I'm talking about is this one, the NHS and BBC app. Now, I was in a bit of a hurry and just wanted to get on, and there are loads of other apps out there, but the app that I'm going to be talking about is this one. I'm not going to be talking about any of the other ones. I haven't tried them out. Basically works over 9 weeks. There are 3 runs a week. And if you want to know what it looks like this. And so here are some really good things about the app. The first thing is the consistency and the commitment and the accountability to it. 3 runs a week. They roughly work out to be 30, 40 minutes. And the best thing about that is that you're committed to it, and it's easy to build habits. Habits are frictionless. They take low energy to kind of just get up and go for a run. Anybody can find half an hour 3 times a week, particularly if you've committed to doing the Couch to 5K thing. So that is the first thing about this, is that you're not just doing it off your own bat. You're not doing it internally and thinking, right, I'll go for a run today. You are opening the app, you are finding out what that run is for that day, and you can just go and do it. It's completely effortless. Part of the app is the fact you have these coaches, famous people that talk you through the runs, and obviously they're very motivating. Some of them are athletes themselves, some of them are famous voices, and it's great to have that cheerleader talking you through what you're doing. There's a bell halfway through, so you know we're at the halfway point. And Helen, who Dave Rossman's wife, who I ride with a lot, was talking, and I were talking about this, and she was saying the one thing that she's worried about when she completes this, I think she's on week 6 or 7 at the minute, is not having that when it ends. And it is an interesting thing. I'll explain in a bit, but I haven't got to the end of using the app. I have done all the runs, but I haven't got to the end of using the app, and I don't know what kind of aftercare or support there is for when you finish. But she did say she's definitely going to miss these coaches talking her through the runs and feeling like they're keeping her company each and every step of the way. The third thing is that it's really progressive. It builds really, really gently. Now, as a coach, I know the importance of doing that, and as an athlete, I know how hard that is to maintain that. I stuck religiously to doing what it told me to do. Now, in the beginning, I think you do something like 7 or 8 60-second runs with 90-second recovery. Now, any of you out there that are runners will know that should be a very easy thing to do. Now, for me, at the weight I was and with the injury or coming out of the injury that I had, that actually felt like quite a bit of effort at the beginning. It isn't, but it is. It felt like a huge undertaking to do that. But very quickly, I felt like I could have progressed quicker than the app, because I think the form started to come back a bit, the weight started to come off, the fitness started to come back, and I thought I could extend this. I don't need to do what it says, but I stuck to it. And I'm really, really glad I did. Now, one of the things I've stuck to that I've maintained through having finished the app is that each of the workouts begins and ends with a 5-minute brisk walk. And I've stuck to that. It's become a non-negotiable for my runs, is that I do this 5-minute brisk walk at the beginning, at the end. And touch wood, it's the only consistent thing throughout all of the things that I've done. And so far, I've been injury free. So the progression of all these runs is really good. Whether you're brand new to running or whether you're coming back after an injury, having that set kind of progression is really important. And that's one of the best things about this app. And lastly, and a small thing, music integration is kind of okay. It works really well with BBC Sounds. I tended to use it with Spotify, but you can listen to music with it. I think it could be a bit better, but it doesn't kind of shut down all of the apps that are in your phone, and you can listen to music on it. So I know a lot of people really enjoy doing that. I actually tend to run quite a lot without music, because obviously in my day job, I'm surrounded by music and noise all of the time. It's actually quite nice to get away from that. But it is an important factor for a lot of people to have that music, maybe for rhythm or whatever. And it integrates really well with BBC Sounds if you want to listen to an audiobook or listen to some music. Now, there are a couple of things that I did find that did annoy me a little bit. They might be more specific to me as a person, that's fine. I know this app is designed for generic people and it's never going to suit everybody, but here are a couple of things that I discovered that annoyed me a little bit. The first thing is the fact that actually I didn't want to use the app. I wanted to use the runs, but I didn't want to use the app in my ears. I don't actually like taking my phone with me. I find it a bit unwieldy. I like to run with just my watch. And so what I started doing was putting the session on my watch through Garmin Connect as a workout, which is fine. Obviously I can go and do that run and my watch will tell me what I'm supposed to be doing and when I'm supposed to be doing it, which is great. However, what I can't do is tick that off on the app. So I got to about week 3 and I haven't been able to complete it. I can't go in there and say I've done this run even though I haven't done it on the app, and I think that's a bit of a downfall, because I think they're going to be more than just me in that situation of not wanting to follow the app, not wanting to have the coaches in my ear as good as they are. I just wanted to follow the sessions really, and I think that's a bit of a problem with this app. Speaking of the coaches, now they are brilliant, they are really motivating, but one thing that did annoy me, and I mentioned this in a previous video, and this is definitely down to me as a person, I like to know when I'm supposed to be starting my interval. It would have been really good if each of the coaches could have counted down to when you're supposed to be starting. Sometimes you get, okay, you're approaching your third run interval, get ready to go, and then 5-10 seconds later they'll say, oh, you're doing really well. And it's like, oh, when was I supposed to start? I don't know when I was actually supposed to start that. And I actually went on to some of the Olympians, I think Denise Lewis is one of them, to see if maybe the athletes did it, but none of them did that I found. And I did find that a bit annoying. I wanted a little bit more precision to know when I'm supposed to be starting and stopping those intervals. And then the last thing, I think it gets a bit samey. I can't remember exactly which week it is, but at the beginning you're doing intervals essentially to get you into form and structure, and that's really good. And then in the middle it starts to mix it up. You might be doing 60 seconds or 3 minutes or 5 minutes with different recoveries, and that's in the kind of middle section. And as it gets into the run out, you essentially start doing 3 20-minute runs, 3 25-minute runs, 3 30-minute runs a week. And I think for some people that might get a bit samey. I think it'd be great if, as it got toward the end of it, maybe in week 7, 8, 9, that you started to mix it up a little bit and still kept some of the intervals in there, maybe even in the middle. So if you did a 10-minute run and then something like 6 or 8 60-second efforts with 30 seconds recovery and then another 10-minute interval, just to break it up, and also just to get a little bit of speed work introduction in there, I think would be great, because essentially what it does is intervals, a little bit of mixed tempo work, and then essentially the rest of it is all endurance running. And I think that sends not only the wrong message to people going forwards, that what they mentally should be doing is just trying to run for longer. It doesn't really introduce any of that idea of actually picking up the pace at all. And when I speak to athletes, and you might be one of these, a lot of people say they can run, but they can only really run at one pace. And I think it would be good if they did mix it up a little bit.
But all in all, fantastic app. I'm really, really glad I downloaded it. I'm really glad I followed it. The negatives are tiny. I've just literally been out for a run. The weight session you saw me do then was after doing a 4x1k effort session off of 90 seconds. And I'm running those efforts at just under 4:30 per kilometre, which I genuinely wouldn't have ever believed I'd be able to do again. With a good sort of 5-10 minute warm up at the beginning, 5-10 minute warm up at the end, and then coming back and doing some weights straight away. So I would not, absolutely categorically would not have been able to have done that if it hadn't been for this app. And it's been incredibly motivating and incredibly inspiring to be able to feel that I can do that again. So if you're in any doubt about your running at the moment, I would definitely suggest downloading this app. Can't vouch for the others, but definitely download this app and get yourself started.
Now then, do you remember that pathetic little lump that I was running up at the beginning of the video with the trig point? This is it here. And I saw that big hill that was higher. Well, it's here. Look at the views from up here. Absolutely astounding. And I thought, seeing as I've done all this effort to get up here, least you can do, subscribe to my channel. If you want to watch more videos, me doing stupid stuff, it isn't really stupid stuff, it's really cool stuff. I'm just trying to find out the best way to, I don't know, experience stuff like this without taking things too seriously, but at the same time, taking things extremely seriously. Then do subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and make sure you hit the notifications bell. So next time I put a video out, you'll know it's there. Woohoo!